Hello, thank you for stopping by. Today for this video, I am looking at State of Decay Year 1 Survival Edition for the Xbox One. State of Decay is a third-person open-world zombie game that was published by Undead Labs back in 2013. This game is on the Xbox One, and the disc I have actually seems to have 3 versions of the game built into it. It looks like the expansions were included on the disc as well, which is really nice. This game takes place just after the zombie apocalypse outbreak. It's an open world game, so the story is really going to be a long series of story events. It is considered open world, which means you can pretty much go where you want. Yeah, there are going to be map limits, but it's important to know this is not a linear experience. No two gameplays or people are going to have the same experience. You can pretty much do whatever you want, whenever you want. The goal of the game here is to survive, and you're going to do this in a bunch of different ways, by fortifying a base, by managing its success and growth, by meeting people, and looting. Lots of looting. You can rescue people out in the wild and bring them back to your base. You can scavenge vehicles and supplies, and you can create outposts that are useful for sort of spreading your safe zones. The gameplay mostly falls around getting good at exploring the various terrains, and of course looting, and you're going to be clearing houses and buildings of whatever zombies are there. You're going to do this alone with a character, or with one or more other helpers, depending on the circumstance, which those are usually people that you meet along the way. You can switch between characters in your base if you're friendly with them, and you're going to become friends by talking to people and doing missions for them, stuff like that. So you're really not just playing one character, you're cycling through a bunch. So you're not creating a persona, really, you're just experiencing it through all these different people with their different stories. I think the journey here is really fun. It isn't as polished as some other games, though. I'm playing this one on the Xbox One, and there are still jittery bits of graphics from time to time, and the camera doesn't always seem to do what you want it to do. Some of the animations are going to poke through walls occasionally, and you'll get these odd visual glitches from time to time. Once I accidentally got myself forced over a ledge that I wasn't supposed to get over, and it took me 10 minutes to glitch my way back. So, visually, you're going to get some oddities from time to time that you wouldn't expect, but still, even with that, I really enjoy this game. The items just aren't game breakers for me. Not yet anyway, and I think I'm 10 or 12 hours into it. I am a fan of the zombie genre to begin with, and I think this is a pretty good one. Maybe I'm biased, I don't know. When you start using a character, they're not going to be very good at doing everything. But as you kill creatures and wander around, you're naturally going to be leveling up your skills and getting better. For instance, the more you run, the more athletic you're going to become. And I think the game works pretty good this way. Just go about your business, trying to save people and collect supplies, and every now and then a message is going to pop up on the screen telling you that you upgraded to something. You know, your athletics went up a level, or your killing skill went up a level. It's just nice to see. I do think there's a definite level of repetition to the game, though. I mean, with all the looting that's going on, and searching and more looting. But I like it. I mean, ransacking buildings and trying to maximize your haul, it's fun. This is controlled chaos. You can also drive cars, and you're going to actually be using them frequently. When I first started the game, I started out on a campground, and I was running around doing missions for an hour or so. And then eventually I left the area and found a vehicle, and I jumped right in. That's kind of when the game really started to work. You're going to use vehicles to get around, you're going to use them to carry supplies, and of course you're going to use them to run over and kill zombies. The vehicles do take damage though, so it's not like you have an unlimited weapon at your disposal. It's eventually going to break down. As for killing zombies, at least the way I play, mostly I'm going to use a lot of handheld weapons, because they're relatively efficient and they're quiet. But they do break. So you're going to want to keep a spare on hand. You also have this sort of kill move that you can perform when a zombie's been knocked down, or if you're sneaking up on them and they don't know you're there. Maybe it's you double stomping their head, or you're smashing their face into the ground, or just teeing off using a pipe. It's pretty cool, these animations they have, they're pretty gory, and they feel rewarding enough. I mean, for a special move to suddenly have this sort of thing happen, I think it's icing on the cake, and it works really well in this context. You can get guns, but I'm not very good at them, and you have a problem with the ammunition, I think. there are just lots of different types of ammunition kicking around, and if the one gun you have doesn't have the right ammunition, that doesn't really help. I think also guns should be used sparingly in this one, because the noise isn't that good for keeping yourself hidden, and it will attract other zombies. What might originally seem like a doable fight because there's only maybe 2 zombies there, it can quickly get out of control if a bunch of other zombies show up because of the noise you're making. Your carrying space is also a concern here. You really have to manage what you're carrying because you have limited carry spots on your person, and there's going to be a lot of you going back to your base or your car to drop stuff off. You have to worry about bigger things with your camp. People have to be kept fed, they have to be healthy, and they have to be safe. So you're going to have to try and pay attention to these other things that are happening, this sort of community building aspects of the game. If you're told that someone is sad, maybe you should talk to that person. If someone's causing trouble, maybe you need to get them some exercise, take them on a mission, and talk to them out there. It's possible. It's something you have to worry about. You got to clear little problems that are happening as you're sort of rebuilding your society. You have missions that you can pick and choose, pretty much, and you're kind of going to want to pay attention to these and make sure you're doing a healthy mix of useful missions. There are smaller individual missions for people, and you need to use these a lot because you have to make friends with other people on the base. You're going to want to switch characters and play people for different periods of time because you become fatigued. And when you become fatigued and need to sleep, the only way you can do that is if you switch off characters and carry on the story with someone else. Actually, figuring out how to switch characters for me wasn't actually easy to understand. It took me a while to figure out how to do it. I think in this regard the game's maybe a little less obvious in how your base really is working. Certain parts of the interface just confused me a little bit and took some time to figure out. I still don't think I fully understand how everything works, but I got a pretty good knowledge of most things. I mean, I'm probably 10 to 12 hours into this game, and I do feel like I'm just learning. I got some outposts going, I got a bunch of buildings cleared. It's fun, it's working, but I don't have the community thing down. That's probably going to take a lot longer. As far as missions go, if you don't feel like doing a particular one, or any of them, you can actually just go out and grab a building and walk inside it. Clear it out. Loot it. You can do that. And you'll actually find a lot of stuff this way, and ultimately it helps keep the zombie population in check, I think. This is one of those games that I'm really enjoying, but I don't feel obligated to work on it non-stop. It's fun, but it feels like it is such a long experience. For me, working on it in chunks seems to be the best fit. And even though it's kind of glitchy at times, this one is really enjoyable, and it feels like Grand Theft Auto a lot, you know, but maybe with fewer cars. And I guess also the cars here handle much worse. There are different brands that you can actually get to, trucks or station wagons or muscle cars, but none of them feel like they're a particularly great ride. They do fine in this game and they all seem to handle differently, but I think overall they could handle better. I mean, any car I've actually got into feels like it's missing something. So State of Decay is hours and hours of gameplay, and if you like zombies, I'd suggest checking it out. It's also remarkably inexpensive. I paid less than $10 for this disc. It's completely worth it. I actually think I got this at GameStop like 3 for $12. What an amazing deal. If you don't have an Xbox One, you can also get it for Windows, although I would recommend picking up an Xbox One if you can swing it. Besides the cost of the console, I mean, yeah, it's going to be a couple $100 to get a console, but you can get so many great games for this system at shockingly low prices. So after the hardware investment, man, you could get a crazy good library for less than $100. I'm a fan. Well, that's all I have today for State of Decay for the Xbox One. Thanks for stopping by to take a look, and please feel free to like and subscribe and all that good stuff if you're interested. And thanks for stopping by. Hope to catch you on another video.